And thus a god was born from the vast cosmic void, descending to Earth to fulfill a divine... okay, slow down. Slow down! Guess the gods skipped breakfast in the tutorial.
Greetings YouTube, it's your good old ace, Master Hydra here.
Before we dive into the chaos, a quick introduction. And yes, you can skip this part, I've been that guy too, I get it. But maybe one day, someone will come back to this very video and realize this was where it all began. My name is Master Hydra, but just Hydra is fine. I'll be making gaming reviews full of comedy, chaos, and probably a few divine mistakes. Whether it's a spicy exploits, questionable miracles, or a good old-fashioned lunacy, I'm here to entertain. Inspired by those who came before, especially a certain masked heretic of the review world, I walk a similar path, but with my own mask, my own madness, and my own Greg. Oh, and if something breaks during this video, just know my maintenance team is on it. It's just Greg. He's unionized and I can't stop him. With all that said, let's dive into Volcanic Raptures. Today's divine disaster is none other than Black and White 2, a game where you play as a literal god, hurling miracles, raising cities, and casually training a kaiju-sized emotional support animal. Developed by Lionhead Studios back in 2005, this game asks the big questions. What if morality was optional? What if urban planning was a joke? And what if setting a town on fire counted as progress? Black and White 2 wasn't just a game I played, it was practically my origin story. It's one of the first games I ever touched, and it lit that spark that said, what if being unhinged was actually funny? The concept's simple. You're a god, summoned to save your people from annihilation. You choose a creature, big, strong, hungry, and build a town. Then you either guide your people with kindness, or light everything on fire. It's a divine sandbox of strategy, city building, and chaotic alignment shifts, like if SimCity had miracles and Godzilla had trauma. So let's break down the story of Black and White 2, Land by Glorious Land. Or as I call it, a tour of poor life choices Divine Edition. Welcome to Land 1, where handholding is optional, but aggressively encouraged.
You're greeted by your conscience. Literally, both of them. They speak over each other because the game runs so fast the dialogue overlaps like an amateur podcast. Just listen to this.
But before then, you'll want to... We'll help you with all that.
Then it's time to pick your creature. We got the ape, the cow, the lion, the wolf, and wait, where's the fifth one?
There, walking in with absolute swagger. Let me introduce the tiger, a reskin of the lion, but with Japanese flair from Land 6. Do I care? No, he walks like a Giga Chad. That's my boy now. After you choose your creature, the game offers you two scrolls. A bronze scroll to start the tutorial, a silver scroll to skip it, with a lovely warning that you'll miss out on a valuable tribute if you do. Of course, this only works if you're playing the patched version, where skipping is even possible. Otherwise, buckle in. The game's about to teach you how to pick up a tree for the next 10 minutes. And you're not allowed to leave the sandbox until you've mastered every single angle. Creatures, villagers, resources, leashing, picking up rocks, setting things on fire. Basically everything short of filling taxes. This is the divine equivalent of being told how to breed, while you're already choking on responsibility. After the first land, we're arriving at the Land 2, and immediately get front row seats to a glorious Aztec invasion. This isn't just war, it's the tutorial's version of a trauma bonding. Your villagers panic, the Aztec army is storming in, and you're there like, hey guys, I just learned how to pick up things!
You portal your people out just in time, but not before raising your kill count. Listen, divine intervention doesn't mean non-lethal. After steamrolling some more Aztecs, they launched the second volcano, forcing me to evacuate. I guess even me as a god I have some limitations in saving every other of my people, let alone smiting every single Aztec and their ape in my capital. Welcome to the Land 3, also known as the land where free will goes to die. You've just saved your people from the jaws of Aztec annihilation. And your reward? More tutorials. Your baby sat so hard you start to wonder if Peter Molyneux coded this line while stress-eating crayons. And here's the divine punchline. You could have skipped all of this right after choosing your creature back at land 1. There's a sewer scroll that straight up says, "Hey, wanna not suffer through the tutorial purgatory?" But no, you click the bronze scroll like a good little messiah you are. Now you're knee-deep in pop-up tips, while your creature develops the abandonment issues. The true test of godhood is surviving the developer's need to explain basic mechanics for 3 entire lands. Still, I did get some tribute out of it, so who's the real fool here? It's still me. Do you get the same tribute if you skip all of it? I don't know. I'm too traumatized to try it. As soon as you start land 4, your hand is finally let go. You can finally enjoy some well-deserved freedom from the tutorials. Ha! Good one. Here's another tutorial scroll, this time about walls. As if I don't already know how to play digital Lego with divine powers. But it doesn't stop there. Your creature now starts spouting deep philosophical questions like, is it okay to attack enemy units? What if I kick this tree? Violently. What if violence? But educational. And while I was busy trying to build something resembling civilization, I ended up making 100 villas, because nothing screams strategic housing like spamming rectangles until the impressionist bar twitches. And guess what? The Vikings saw that and collectively said, we want to live there. So they abandoned their own structured and defensible capital to come live under my mismanaged, unorganized pile of homes that were all clumped together in patterns that defy reason, gravity, and taste. Sure, the layout's more of an interpretive dance than a city, but apparently that was enough to win the land. There's the Silver Scroll quest. Toss a wine barrel to each of 3 brothers so they can finish their legendary brew. Except my aim? About as accurate as a blindfolded cow on ice. So I cheated. I win the land first, then manually place the barrel where it needs to go. It still counts as throwing in the eyes of the game, and that's free 20,000 tribute, baby. On the land 5, we're up against the Japanese god who's clearly more into building than fighting. His answer to my rising power? Build a siren wonder. Oh no, whatever shall I do? Easy, make my city more impressive. Their wonder becomes a giant expensive paperweight. Then I found a sheep giving birth to 24 sheep. Excuse me? How? Why? Naturally, I helped round them up, earned the tribute, and put them to good use. Grain's boring. Time for lamb stew. I'm not proud of what I did. I did what I had to do for my people to survive another day. And it's on this land we discover Greg's house. Tucked away, serene, peaceful. No one knows who lives there, but we do know it survived all this madness. And that's why Greg is now part of my maintenance team. This time we're up against the Japanese god who's all about war. He's got his tornado wonder, fully charged, and because AI cheats, he doesn't even need villagers worshipping to use it. Also, there's this quest, help some archaeologists find ancient ruins, so you guide them with your gesture casting miracles. It's wholesome, until the final stage, where you lift a giant stone. And if that stone accidentally crushes one of the assistants, boom, no reward, 0, zilch, nada, all because you had butterfingers. Anyway, Tornado Wonder? Oh yeah, I lit it on fire, sabotaged it with Flaming Tree exploit, because if I can't have peace, neither can he. Welcome to the Land 7, where both Japanese brothers said, you know what? Let's both take the L together. That's right, a double front war where I had to deal with 2 gods who still don't know what they're doing. One of them, the more buildery type, pulled out the big guns and built the Earthquake Wonder, which I never saw it in action. Seriously, he built it and just kind of stared at it like it owed him tribute. Meanwhile, I was busy preparing my divine conquest, but fate had other plans, because as soon as their defeat was inevitable, the game bugged out. They just didn't surrender. So now, instead of being hailed as the impressive god I am, I had to send in my warriors and force the win manually. Forget divine miracles. This one ended with blood, swords, and mildly confused troops wondering why their god looked so annoyed. My child, go forth, because these guys forgot how to lose properly. After reloading straight into Land 8, the tone shifted drastically. Gone was the kind-hearted old god. What loaded in was a fully upgraded war criminal with divine rights, the kind of god your mother warned you about. I had already captured their towns, claimed their hurricane wonder like a trophy, and my army stood at the gates waiting for the order. But why bother sending them in? My volcano wonder was ready, and I had a score to settle. So I fired it. Molten wrath, direct to their faces. It didn't just secure my victory. Oh no, I accidentally barbecued the remaining Aztec civilians too. They didn't run, they just accepted it, as if willingly sacrificing themselves to their so-called god, which is ironic considering I just applied for that position and got promoted via lava. I guess that's one way to convert followers. You either worship me or become landscape mulch. Final land, final judgment, and time for me to settle a score. Before the Aztecs sent in their two-pronged war assault against me, I had a plan. I started building my epic wonders and immediately assigned civilians to worship them. My warriors and archers converted into normal villagers and redirected straight to the altars. Wartime efficiency at its finest. And then it happened. Enemy forces entering in my influence zone. So I did what any benevolent god would do. I introduced them to the age-old art of fireball diplomacy. One fireball for the first front. Then I pivoted and gave the second wave the same treatment. And their ape? Let's just say he got bananaed. But then I heard their god rambling about using the same volcano wonder again. So naturally I did what any reasonable deity would do. I sabotaged it, picked up a flaming tree, flew over and set the volcano wonder ablaze using the old fire tree exploit. Disaster averted. Or so I thought. He still fired it anyway. He still fired it anyway. Like, what? I burned it, I destroyed it, and it still happened. It's like throwing a pie in someone's face and they eat it mid-air. So, with the divine pettiness fully activated, I made sure he'd never fire anything again. The tornado carried off their homes, the earthquake swallowed their defenses, the volcano added insult to injury, and the siren, she probably sang the hymn titled "You Had It Coming." And just to sprinkle a little salt in the ashes, another faction even sent support. Not that I needed it, but hey, thanks for the faith. You'll make excellent worshippers once I'm done scorching this entire map off the face of the heathen. The result? Victory, lava, and applauses. As for the Aztecs, reduced to ash and moral ambiguity. So how does Black and White 2 actually work? Well, it's part god game, part city builder, and part how did my creature just moonwalk across the battlefield. You start by building houses, temples, and military academies, trying to impress enemy cities or crush them outright. You have alignment, good or evil, which affects how your buildings look, how your people behave, and how your miracles are flavored. You want to play good? Sure. Inspire your villagers, use water miracles, and casually yeet grain into the storehouse like a generous eldritch barista. Want to be evil? Burn villages, throw fireballs, and turn your creature into a war crime with legs. Tribute is your currency, and the game loves dangling it in front of you like a divine crack. You get it from completing objectives, expanding influence, or just abusing certain repeatable mechanics. But isn't that an exploitation? No, it's divine compensation for my time. There are Silver Scroll quests scattered around the map that offer tribute, and if you know how to gain them just right, well, let's just say that Volcano Wonder starts looking real affordable. Let's talk about one mechanic that's criminally underrated. The Divine Push. So, imagine this. Your creature is out cold, your army chilling in the wrong zip code, and suddenly, the enemy is inside your town walls like they own the place. Panic? No need, just grab your divine hand, hover over the intruding forces, and shove them like you're swatting flies at a summer barbecue. Yes, your literal god hand can scratch the earth, reshape the land, and punt enemy squads out of your sacred backyard like they just dinged your divine car. It's not just funny, it's tactical, because sometimes when your creature face down in dirt and your army is on coffee break or non-existent, all it takes is one godly shove to say, "Back off, Aztecs, daddy's home." Underrated? Try life-saving, especially when everything else has gone horribly, horribly wrong. And besides, it's also not considered an evil act, unlike throwing fireballs at them. Back in the original black and white, you could draw shapes to cast miracles. Want to heal? Draw a heart. Need water? Draw a cloud. You want your creature to shut up? Too bad, there's no symbol for that. Now in black and white 2, this returns as an optional tribute trap. You pay a hefty 15,000 tribute to unlock the gesture casting tool. Sounds magical, right? Wrong. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you draw a perfect heart. And what the game says? Yeah, nah, never seen that symbol in my life. So now you're out of 15k, and what do you get? A broken feature and a faint whisper of regret. Because why press a hotkey when you can finger paint your disappointment instead? If you value your sanity, just use the toolbar. Click the miracle, press M to recast. Leave the divine toddling to the original game. Speaking about every creature, each one comes with their own style of fighting, building, and snipe preferences. They can help in combat, build structures, and occasionally moonwalk like its divine talent show. No, seriously, I once gave my creature an order, and instead of walking like normal entity, it just glided backwards, like it was possessed by Michael Jackson's ghost. That's not divine moment. That's divine groove. But be careful, creatures are smart. Ish. Sometimes they'll help, sometimes they'll yeet villager across the map. It's a gamble every time you trust them. City building is surprisingly deep. Different building types generate different impressiveness. Houses are good, temples are great, but if you're going for maximum of, you'll need a city that screams, "Bow before me," not one that whispers, "We're a startup." And yes, alignment also affects your architecture. Go good and your town is all peaceful and serene. Go evil and it looks like tax office merged with Mordor. So what have we learned? Being a god is exhausting. Lava is valid diplomacy strategy, and urban planning is a myth I chose to ignore. But wait, there's more. Now, I do know there is technically a sequel expansion to Black and White 2 called Battle of the Gods, which picks up right after the Aztec god is summoned back into the world to exact revenge. Yes, apparently he got better. That's just a minor inconvenience when you're made of angry sunburn and sacrificial spite. Unfortunately, I currently have no access to that part of the divine mess. No copy, no footage, no Volcano budget, so we won't be reviewing that. For now. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll find a totally legitimate version that doesn't implode my PC or require blood ritual to install. And when that day comes, I'll be back with more divine chaos, probably more Greg, and most definitely more explosions. And of course, I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't mention the music. The OST of Black and White 2 is not just background noise, it's a divine chorus that elevates every click, every miracle, every bit of chaos I unleash. Whether you're building your utopia or raising someone else's, there's always a godlier soundtrack playing in the background. So here's to the composers you miracle never missed. This has been Hydra, bringing logic, structure, and stability to gaming. Said no one ever. This was your race, Master Hydra. Maybe this is why exactly we don't have these god powers. For this very specific reason. Not to mention I did burn 200 soldiers. But this
Volcano Wonder. And I wasted a lot of tribute for that too. Huh. Oops.